So you're listening to Lore Friendly. It's been what, like a month? A month?
Probably, yeah.
You forgot how dead I sound in real
Yeah,
life. You're just
I
kind of
forgot
like,
how dead you are to
like
the world and real life.
you're like God, why do you sound so fucking awful? And it's like, no, this is just how I normally sound. It's just
Yeah.
my voice.
Well, it's been a hectic month.
Yeah,
On
I
this
have
end.
poured out a little liquor for the homies, which means I'm
Oh.
just drinking.
You're actually drinking.
Yeah.
What's your tipple of choice, Chris?
Well, see, normally, like, the manly thing to do would be drink whiskey or what's the other one?
Scotch.
Scotch, yeah. But I don't prescribe to these outdated notions of manliness. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I have, like, a fucking... I think it's called... It's, like, coconut liquor or some shit.
Do not diss the coconut
Caribbean
liquor.
rum.
It's fantastic. Ooh.
Yeah, it's called Malibu Caribbean Run. And it tastes like a fucking kid's drink. It's, like, it's
Oh,
very
that
sweet.
sounds fantastic.
And I
I'd recommend
mixed...
Kahlua if you like it.
Yeah,
with your
that's what it
coffee.
is. It's like Kahlua milk. Isn't that what it's called?
Well, you have Kahlua, and that's a coffee-flavored liquor.
Yeah, I think that's what this is. I mean, well, it says it's
Does
called...
it taste like coconut or coffee?
It tastes like coconut, I guess. So I guess that's not the same.
It's a different kind of liquor, then.
But you mix this with milk, and it's really it tastes like a fucking kid's drink. It's like sweet, and it doesn't taste like alcohol at all. It's like chocolate
Meanwhile,
milk.
I'm drinking the most feminine of drinks, red wine, because I'm a classy bitch.
We're both drinking feminine drinks.
Yes.
But again, I don't care because I don't subscribe to your outdated notions of manliness.
Exactly. I would agree with that, but I definitely am more of a feminine, drinky kind of gal, apart from beer.
Me too. I'm a feminine, drinky kind of guy.
Excluding beer.
Yeah. yeah. What else has been going on besides us drinking feminine drinks?
It's been one hell of a month. What can I say?
Yeah, we
I had a
forgotten
proper-
to record like for like 3
yeah.
weeks straight.
Well, it's like, we were going to record the first week of this month, weren't we? But then I had to go down to London for a job.
Yeah.
A proper acting job.
Wow. Did you
Proper
get it?
acting. Yeah, like, it was basically
But
done
you're like,
through
of
this...
course, duh.
Duh. Yeah, no, it was this, it was basically going down to do some, like, event work acting, so kind of like what I do at the museum, but for an event.
Mm.
And I got paid proper, like, actors' rates for it.
Nice.
Transport was paid for it. In first class.
Wow.
Yeah. Hotel room paid for.
Oh, wow.
With a coffee machine in it. And then on top of that, I got, like, more than I generally earn in a week at my usual day job.
Nice. Living large.
Yeah. And what am I going to buy with that money?
Yes, what are you going to buy?
Guinea pig medicine.
Oh, wow. Is guinea
Because
pig
I am
medicine
also a
expensive?
mother now.
Is it expensive? Is it not covered by
It is when it's an eye infection.
the NHS or whatever it's called?
No, NHS don't do pets.
Yeah.
Especially
imagine not.
exotic pets, as
Yeah.
guinea pigs are classed as. So I got the guinea pigs about 2 weeks ago now. 1 week in, one of them ended up with an eye infection. And
That's
I've
very
had to
sad.
spend an awful amount of money getting her better.
Yeah, see, that's another thing about pets is that you have to like constantly take care of them because they can't take care of themselves. So it's just
It's
yeah,
like a baby, but
Yes.
furry and cuter.
Yeah. It's like I can't take care of myself. How am I going to take care of a pet? It's impossible.
Well, I've been prioritising the pet's food over mine this last week.
Ah, there
so.
you go. There you go. I'm sure they appreciate your sacrifice, even though they can't comprehend it or process it with their tiny guinea pig brains. but yeah, I should mention that I was pouring one out for Eleonora, who is sick and will not be with us this week.
Bless
Yeah,
Eleonora, we
noticed.
miss you and
Yes.
your incredible insights and your cat.
I mean, it's not like she was just sitting there silently, which is what I'm sure people were
yeah.
assuming. Yeah.
And we are not joined today by Eleonora.
Yeah. That would have been weird if she was here and we just completely ignored her for like the last 7 minutes, just rambling on.
Oh well, she'd live. We'd know that she was there because we'd be able to hear the distant meowing of a cat.
Oh, yeah. And then her yelling at the cat in Finnish. She could have just been talking crap about us. We don't know.
Yeah. She might have just been saying, like, you know these two idiots who I'm talking to right now. You listen to them, Kat. You shut up and listen. They're
Exactly
awful. I hate them.
Yeah, that's always weird when there's one person or there's like two people, I guess, in the group, because there have to be two. And then they're like talking a different language, and then you just don't understand. You feel excluded. It's weird. yeah, funny.
I had to do a tour with some Spanish people the other day. They were all Spanish, and their English was not fantastic. So I was just doing this tour for them, and they were just gossiping amongst themselves, and I was like, they are literally just talking about how boring this tour is, aren't they?
Possibly.
They hate me.
Possibly, yes.
They could have been saying anything.
They could have been talking about Fallout 76 for all we know.
Oh, well, there is a lot of fallout around Fallout 76, isn't there?
Yes, I haven't kind of like read the reviews or anything because I kind of insulate myself from that stuff.
Yeah, you don't want your perception to be coloured by other people's opinions.
But I do hear it's been like bad. Like people are just like just ranting and raving. And to be fair, it is a very easy game to pick on.
Yeah.
Like, especially the bugs. It's a very easy game to hate if your intention is to hate on it, I should say.
Yeah. Well, what I've basically heard about it is that generally people like Bethesda games for the stories, and they will overlook the numerous bugs that are just a staple of Bethesda games just because they're enjoying the story, they're enjoying the characters, they're enjoying all the side quests, things like that. But because Fallout 76 doesn't have any NPCs, the only thing you can interact with is these audio tapes. So it kind of takes away from the fantastic story that these games normally have, or at least an engaging story. And so it leaves front and center all the bugs.
Yeah, I actually don't think these single-player games have that many. At least I didn't experience it. I mean, I know it's a running joke. It's kind of like... You see that video with the Skyrim carriage at the beginning? And there's like a video of it tumbling and flipping, and it's just like buggy as hell. It's just hilarious. But that has never happened to me. Like in all the times I've played Skyrim, I've never had my carriage flip around at the beginning.
I've not had the carriage flip around at the beginning. However, I have had random dragons fall out of the sky and land in the middle of a city, and then they're just there forever. And I have had backwards flying dragons as well.
Yeah, I think I've had some wonky dragons from time to time. Just, I mean, nothing game-breaking, though. I think it's a bit overstated, like the bugs. It's just that when there is a bug, it's usually, like, fantastically funny, and you can post a video and everybody sees it.
My favourite one is the one in Oblivion, where you drag a body into a door, you close the door, and then the body would just start shaking, and then it'd fly off somewhere. That was the best. Yeah.
This game, like, you're going to experience bugs if you play it enough. It's one of those games where, because it's different in terms of what Bethesda's used to as far as development, like, they're running into all these different kind of bugs that I think are server-side related, because it's, like, a game that isn't completely local. So I think there's a lot of stuff like that where I'll get disconnected from a server. That's something that doesn't happen in a single-player game, but it happens all the time. You get weird wonkiness with the NPCs. I don't know if it's just some kind of issue in terms of...
There are no NPCs.
I mean, not NPCs, but like the
audio guides, the monsters that you have to fight.
The monsters, the Scorched or the like just enemies, hostiles.
Yeah,
like they'll get stuck a lot. It's good for me because I suck at video games. I could just shoot them, but they get stuck a lot, and it seems like there's like some kind of disconnect with I don't know, with the local game or the server or something where they just get stuck. That's not something that happens on the regular game. But my biggest beef is the disappearing camps. I mean, that just really, really sucks because one of the funnest parts about this game is like building your own camp, building your little settlement in the world, and like showing it off to other people.
This is you clearly just being a model here.
No, I don't make housing mods though, but I do like making...
You don't, but you like thinking that you have the ability to do that.
If Eleanor was here, she could vouch for the fun of making house mods, but making little houses, like making settlements in Fallout 4 is really fun. Making like little camps in this game is fun. It's just... every like 5 or 6 days your camp is just going to vanish and it's going to store into your blueprint, inventory or whatever. And I guess it's because if two camps are in the same location, I mean, this is what people are saying. If two camps are in the same location, the camp that loaded first has to win because they can't be on top of each other. So one of them gets stored. But I've found that it gets stored, it gets disappeared even when there's nobody around. That's what annoys me, because I built my camp in a place that, like, it's remote and it's hard for, like, people to spawn there or whatever.
Yeah.
But it still disappears. I don't know why. Hopefully they find a solution for that, because that is, like, the worst.
It just seems like massive issues with uploading the way that you change the game world up to the servers so that it can be reflected, so that when you load it back up, it's gone.
Yeah, and it's something that it's new for them, so I get it. It's just... Yeah, I feel like a game like this, because so much can go wrong with this, they should have had a longer beta. They should have had, like, a
this is something that you need to test out. And you need to test it out across multiple servers, multiple regions, with a fair amount of people. You can't release a game that was retailing for, what was it, $60 initial release? Yeah. You can't release a game that is retailing for $60 initial release, with it being that broken, with it taking that, like, with it disregarding that many people's data. Like, you have similar games, such as Rust, which is what a lot of these multiplayer survival games are based off of. And even though they're, like, open beta, or cheap, or free, they're not taking $60 off of you.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you do lose the data, it's like, well... What do we expect? We gave them a $5.
Well, it's only $35 now, thanks to Black Friday.
It is Black Friday sales.
That is kind of crazy, though. It's been like 10 days and it's already on sale. That's not
Normally,
good.
you do not see a Bethesda game that heavily discounted.
No. I will say this. I do like playing the game. I think it's just... You have to figure out how to play it, which is a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
But it's very exploration-based because, like you said, there's no NPCs. One thing I would suggest is not playing the radio. That was a mistake I made at the beginning, was playing the radio. You should play the ambient music. The ambient music adds a lot to the exploration. I think it's catered for each location. So, like, if you're in a dark, scary place, it turns scary.
So it's suitably,
Yeah, and I think it's really well done. The ambient music is like a big plus. So I think don't listen to radio, don't listen to classical radio, don't listen to the Appalachia radio. It's just more immersive, I think, if you use the ambient music. Other thing I would suggest is play with teams for the big quests, for like major quests, because it's fun to play with people. Me and Jennifer have been playing because it's the only person I know.
I think we need to get back into Elder Scrolls Online. I think
there's too many people, though. I don't like that because it's there's too many people. That's another thing about Fallout 76 that I like. There's 24 people maximum on a server in a huge map. So the amount of times you run into people, it's rare, but at the same time, it's enough to where it's kind of satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, it's satisfying to team up with a stranger doing something. I will say that my initial experience kind of sucked, though, because I swear to God, right after I got out of the vault, I, like, go down the big stairs, and there was 2 griefers waiting at the first camp.
Of course there were, of course.
So there's a starting camp that everybody goes to right out of the vault. The second I got there, I decided to take a nap to get a buff. They started teabagging me right away.
Classic. Just like, who do you?
Yeah, let's just wait here and teabag everybody who shows up. Yeah, it was really bad. I shouldn't have slept. I should have realized they were waiting there for a reason. But they can't, like, grief you, like, shooting you, because it does barely any damage. But they can definitely grief you by teabagging and jumping over. Yeah. In general, though, I think that's the way to play. Play the quests with other people. Explore the map by yourself with ambient music.
Okay.
And you'll be fine.
I may bear that in mind if I can ever afford the game.
It's $35. Just buy it now.
I don't get paid until Friday, mate.
So we can play. I'll buy the game for you. Wait, do you have a system that can run it?
Yeah, I don't think my computer can run it, mate.
Oh, see, that's the problem. You'll need to upgrade your computer.
Yeah. Effort.
But that's the thing that I like about it. It's like a good excuse to, like, just hang out and just talk.
It's
and chat.
a good chill out kind of. I think one of the main reasons why it's had such a negative reception is that because it was literally released off of the back of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Which is the blockbuster game of the year. It's going to win all the Game of the Year awards. It's been really highly reviewed. And so the next major release to come out from a major studio is going to be very heavily scrutinised.
Still,
And it just so happened that Bethesda fell into the area where they were the ones who were coming off of the back of Red Redemption 2.
I have both games, and I have put in hours and hours into Fallout 76. Now, granted, I'm incentivized to do so because I can mod 76.
Yeah.
Supposedly, hypothetically, we're going to be able to mod it, so I do want to play and learn.
You can do interesting holotapes.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they'll allow us to have NPCs. We'll see. But
well, the player models are already in the game, aren't they?
I'm not sure how the whole thing works server side, client side. Like, how much of it is on the server side, how much of it is on the client side. But if it's a private server, maybe we can mod the server side stuff. I don't know. Because if we're listening to a radio station, the same song is playing. So even though the music is on our computers locally, I wonder if the quest that's running the songs, that's playing the randomizer, is on the server.
It's syncing up, yeah.
Because otherwise, how are we playing the same music? Because otherwise, it should be random, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is on the server side. So that I'm not entirely sure how that would work. So same with NPCs. I'm not sure that the files for their audio would be stored locally, but the quest might be on the server side. I don't know if that has to be the case. But if it's private servers, maybe it'll work. I'm not sure. But
yeah.
Point is, I actually like it in a perverse way. I don't know if it's just me being addicted to crafting and just this treadmill of hoarding and building stuff. But I don't know. I can't stop playing.
Yeah. I suppose with that kind of game, it does depend on, who is actually on your server. If you're on a server with a load of really cool people, yeah, great, you can make a good time of it. It's like Minecraft, innit? I find Minecraft dead boring by myself.
It depends on what you're trying to do, I think. Because if you're exploring, I kind of prefer to do it by myself because when I'm playing with Jennifer, she's running all over the place, hopping around, and she sprints to every location, and so I find that a little bit non-immersive. Plus, there's pressure to interact instead of go off on your own and explore. But if you're by yourself, you can kind of chill and go slowly and read all the terminals and listen to holotapes. That's another thing that's weird. If you're listening to a holotape and then someone's talking to you, it's a bit discordant, I guess.
Are you now the holotape?
Yeah, it's stop talking. I'm listening to something. So it's a bit weird where there's a single player experience, which is fun, and a multiplayer experience, which is fun. But yeah.
But they don't. They seem to be that people are going into it being a Fallout game with a certain expectation of what a Fallout game entails.
Yeah.
And then because they coming in with these preconceived notions of what a Fallout game is, that they're leaving woefully disappointed.
Well, I hated it to start too because I was where are all the NPCs? Where's this? Where's that? And once I figured out how I was supposed to play it, it got way more fun. But
yeah.
The other thing, I'll mention is, it's, I think Eleonora said she had a really hard time playing as a male character or whatever, so just the fact that as a character creator does add, some fun aspect to it that other games don't have, so I do enjoy games with character
to be fair,
creators.
I spent ages just playing with the Sims 2 character creator, not even playing the Sims 2, just playing with the character creator. Yeah. So much fun.
Yeah, so it's fun being able to play a character that you made. I think my first character was this old geezer, and he had all these scars and melasma, and I just would just get in Jennifer's face to annoy her because he was so ugly. But yeah, it's just fun being able to goof around like that. It's something you cannot do in Red Dead Redemption 2, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure RDR2 is the better game just because people are saying so, and plus it's way more technically impressive, but it's also more technically limited in ways. A Bethesda game, you could do so much. You could pick up anything off the floor, you can interact with the environment in ways that you can't do in other games. So I don't know.
I suppose it's just a different strokes, different folks type of situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think it's really easy to hate on the game, but it can be fun if you figure out how to play it, but it's just the bugs. Yeah. The bugs are bad. it's just there's too many. Yeah.
Even by Bethesda standards, they're bad.
Understandable because it's a new avenue for them, but I don't understand why they didn't beta test it more. It's just they should have beta tested it more.
It seems like they're obsessed with having this release date in November at some point.
Yeah, it probably makes sense financially.
They love releasing things in November because it's just before the Christmas period. But if they had delayed it until, say, January, given plenty of times to iron out some of the bugs, things like that, I think that it might have been a bit more warmly received.
There's other issues like the stash limit is something people cite a lot. I think that's also something that everybody's going to hit because you hoard everything. You pick up a bunch of junk.
Yeah, it's a carryover from, again, other Bethesda games where you can carry God knows how many dragon scales around and you're never going to need them, but you might need them.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's more an issue. Like, I regularly hit the stash limit, but eventually I just figured out I don't need 10,000 pounds of gunpowder that I'm never going to use, that I've been picking up on the way. I need to just drop this, like, 5,000 rounds of 10mm ammo, which I don't even have a gun for. So once I've just, like, let it go, just started, like, dropping shit that I didn't need, I think the stash limit is a little bit more manageable. I'm still kind of hitting up on it, but I just have to figure out what is not something that I'm ever going to use. Like, once you figure that out...
Is it like a weight lifted off of you?
Yes. My virtual
Thank
shoulders,
you, and
yes.
good night. Yeah,
so, I don't know. I do need more friends, I think, in terms of just... I haven't done any of the quests because I usually wait for Jennifer to come online because she's the only person I know. But I do think it helps if you have more friends in terms of doing the quests.
On that note, if anyone wants to donate to Chris's Patreon, then he can use that to get some more friends on Fallout 76.
I do pay friends to hang out with me, but yeah.
Chris Takahashi.
I think you need a...
Takashi. You can find the link in the description down below.
I think you need at least, like, 3 regular friends to play with, because then, like, they're not going to be on all the time, but if you can just have one person, like, every other time you play, I think it'd be perfect. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the lack of sales, like, really hurts the development of this game, because I'm sure a lot of it, like, in terms of DLC, is dependent on the game being successful. Like, do we want to devote more time to this? Is it, worth it? Or do we just want to, like, I don't know, determine it as a sunk cost and just get rid of it?
Well, it's like, I think with development, they shouldn't focus all their development and their money making on future releases and on DLCs. They should focus on making a good, solid, strong product, and then, hang on, people want additions to it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that it's constantly gonna cost you money too, though. That's the thing, because you have to maintain the servers, right? It's gonna be like a monthly cost for them to maintain. I don't know how ESO does it, but do they have, like, because it's free to play now, do they have like a Crown store or something like that?
Yeah, they have the Crown store. They have I don't think they have loot boxes. They have something similar to that. They also have, of course, the downloadable DLCs. You can download the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild and things like that.
Yeah, because there has to be some sort of reason financially to continue to sink money into the servers, because that would really suck if you just couldn't play anymore.
What, like Star Wars Online?
Oh, yeah. Because, like, it's one thing to buy the game, right? And, like, the game not live up to expectations.
It's another thing to buy the game and then not be able to play it because the server sunk.
Yeah. I think, though, once mods come in, you're going to see a lot more interest in the game, because depending on how expansive they let us, like, mod the game.
Yeah, I think if they define the parameters of what mods can do, that would make it a lot easier for people to, I don't want to say improve, but improve the game.
Yeah, especially just adding NPCs, adding, like, certain because the map is huge. Like the map is
letting the world breathe a little bit.
it's such a big canvas to paint on in terms of mods. Like even with like Fallout 4 and Skyrim, the world is like really big, and so there's a lot of room for a lot of mods, and even like extra world spaces. You can make that too if you don't want to use like the base game. But with this world, it is huge. It is like I haven't gone like even half the map in all the time I've played, and it's like they said 4 times as big as Fallout 4, and Fallout 4 is like comparable to Skyrim. So it's and there's nothing in there in terms of like traditional single player quest content. If they just like said, here's this world space, like you can mod it to your heart's content, you could put as many quests and NPCs.
Enjoy.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that you can do with it. So modding wise, it's like going to be one of the most potentially exciting opportunities, I think, for people to mod it. Just because the world is huge.
It's just making sure that they define the parameters of what a mod can do within this online environment, so mod authors can start planning and deciding what they want to do with it, rather than potentially completing a whole 100 NPC mod and then it only being able to be downloaded by people with, I don't know, certain DLCs or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I don't know whether to start on a follower or a quest of any kind until I even know that's possible.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get more answers before the kit comes out, whenever that is. Like, I have no inside info on that, but traditionally it's always come out in, like, February or March of the next year, April. This one might not come out for a while, though, because it's completely different. It's not something there where with the older games, they knew, like, the mod kit would work. They knew how it was going to work. They just wanted to give it enough time to fix bugs and do everything before like people start modding their game. This time there's more bugs, and the mod like server stuff is going to be different. So it'll be interesting if it comes out like even in a year. It might even be like a year and a half. So
yeah,
we'll see.
But whether the game has that long of a shelf life is the issue.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll make it.
You sound like Bethesda's investors there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll struggle on through.
No, Bethesda's investors. Bethesda's like, I'm sure the financial people are just like, cut it off. You know, it's just sunk costs. Get rid of it.
Die. Gone.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be okay once mods get on it and start, taking care of certain things that the game's lacking. But yeah.
Hey Bethesda, you should get onto the modding shit to improve the game.
No, they definitely have to. They definitely have to deal with the base game first. That's how it works, right? So.
Well, most of Skyrim was fixed with mods. Or have you forgotten the unofficial Elder Scrolls patch, which fixed all of the bugs that the actual developers didn't fix?
Usually those are like minor fixes though, right? They're not like major thing. Again,
I don't know. I can remember there being a very unusual glitch in Oblivion in which if your character sat down, they would never be able to get up again.
That sounds bad. And
so the rest of your Oblivion game was spent sat down.
I think though for the majority
in
of
that
players,
one chair,
they can get up. The carriage does not
forever.
Flip. For the majority of players, the carriage does not flip. That's no solace.
But the dragons do fly backwards.
That's no solace for the person who does ride the carriage and starts flipping uncontrollably, but you can make a lot of money on YouTube if you record it.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, anything else you want to talk about? We talked a bunch about this game.
Yeah, we should probably do... Because we've missed like 4 weeks of Doctor Who. I don't think it's worth like going through each individual episode, talking about what we liked, what we didn't dislike. I think we're at like the mid-season point now.
Is it? I thought there were only like 3 episodes left.
I don't know how many episodes they're planning for it, honestly, mate.
Yeah, it does seem like a mid-season point in terms of just like the narrative. Like it doesn't seem like we're like advancing forward on the arching storyline, which had to do with Two-Face.
I feel like we're at a point in the series now in which we can see the general stylistic areas in which the showrunners are wanting to go down and things like that. And it's very overtly political.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like political stuff, a bunch of like historical stuff. I do feel like they're fans of misdirection a lot too. Like the last 3 episodes, I think we've had villains
who aren't actually your villains.
Yeah, yeah. In the last episode, the Kerblam, we had the robots who were painted as these creepy, like new age villains or whatever, and it turned out they weren't the villain. It was the human. In the previous episode before that, we had these like alien races which were described as demons, but it turned out the humans are the demons,
and they're also really adorable, those little baby aliens. Oh no, that's the one before that one.
Yeah, the one before that one is the monster alien that eats everything, which was actually not like a villain. And so
yeah,
even the spider was just like genetically mutated by humans. And so yeah, it's like that old joke on Futurama where they were making fun of a Twilight Zone episode where they said the most dangerous like monster in the world, and then the guy walks out and he's like, it turns out it's man, and then yeah, end of the episode. But anyways, I just blew that joke. But yeah,
thanks. But yeah, it's I think the entire direction that I'm getting from this series is that it is doing its best to address social and historical issues in a manner in which is more heavy-handed,
yeah,
perhaps, than the previous seasons, and especially in discussing the role of English history in this. The Demons of the Punjab episode, I had never heard about the... this is... Newsflash, folks, we're never taught about our imperialistic history here in England.
Yeah, I didn't realize Pakistan was a country made or created by just demarcating like India into like different sections based on their religious beliefs.
Yeah, it's not something you really think about or you're really taught about. Like, in my history classes, bear it in mind that I've done history all the way through up until university. Never taught about it. Never taught about Britain's imperialistic history, things like that. All I've learned about India is from documentaries that I've stumbled upon when I've been watching late night TV. That is literally it. It's not something that's discussed. So the fact that a British TV programme that is generally aired for children's viewing times is addressing this issue is similar to the Rosa Parks thing. Like, you generally know about Rosa Parks, but it's not addressed.
Yeah, and both episodes,
kind of
I think, were really well done. It is interesting, though, because it's Doctor Who, the show, that with the Doctor, usually he or she is like going into like all these situations and fixing things and saving the world and doing all these like amazing things, and it has a very like happy tone to it. Like these episodes, because it's like human history, it's interesting because it's almost like she can't change anything, because it's not like you can go back and kill Hitler because Hitler lived and he did those horrible things and it would seem off like tonally. So it almost makes them like witnesses. Like, I know that was the thing that the aliens were calling themselves, witnesses of the ones who die alone, but it's almost like the Doctor, instead of going back and saving the world and saving people's lives,
is there to just make sure that things go through the way that it's meant
it's
to.
more like a traditional time travel show in that, and like certain things are immutable and you can't go and fix them, whereas in the past, if it was David Tennant, maybe he goes and fixes and saves everybody. But it's a different kind of tone.
Yeah, I think this is an approach to time travel that I prefer, just because I have hated the last 2 series where it's grand stakes, the universe's fate is at hand, blah da 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 da. It's like, no, you should be focusing on these personal stories of real people in history. History isn't a time period, history is people's lives. And I like that it's focusing on the consequences of these individuals rather than on mass scales or things like that. Apart from the Amazon episode.
Wait, which episode was that? Oh, Kerblam.
Yeah, it was very clearly an analogy for Amazon.
Yeah, for some reason, I started thinking of the Jungle Amazon, but no, you mean Amazon.com, yes.
Yeah, like, literally released the weekend before Black Friday.
Yeah, it's one of those strange...
Very aptly timed.
It's one of those things where it's like you get it, but at the same time it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if robots were automating everything, like, I think humans would just push for basic income. Like, they would just get, like, a stipend or something every month.
A basic balance to survive off of.
They wouldn't demand, like, you know, working for minimum wage doing these horrible menial tasks. That's not something they would fight for. They would fight for just getting a percentage of that machine work. So, I understood the concept on principle, but I didn't think it was all that realistic because of that reason.
No. I can see that. It's just... How has Doctor Who made me scared of bubble wrap?
Yeah.
I'd love popping bubble wrap.
Again, it's like a misdirection thing. All the like horrible monster looking things are the good guys, and then all the cutesy bubble wrappy things. Yeah. The things that are supposed to keep you safe. Like bubble wrap.
And bubble wrap does keep me safe. I love bubble wrap.
Just wrap yourself in bubble wrap, you'll never get injured.
That's me.
Until you start popping it and the poisonous gas comes out. Made by Charlie. One thing I've liked is that they're willing to like kill off characters like nothing. It's kind of
Yeah, and I like that every character that they introduce isn't immediately forgettable. They all have their own unique personalities and things like that. And so each episode has a different cast, and you have feelings towards that cast, rather than just being, oh, this is Soldier Guy 1, this is Soldier Guy 2, this is Soldier Guy 3, oh, this is Nice Lady 1, kind of thing. It's like, no, they have personalities. That's nice. I love the woman in charge of the people in the Amazon episode. She was lovely. Head of people, she was lovely. Head of organics, fantastic.
Yeah, and even the worker who died, Kira, I think her name was interesting.
Yeah, she was a sweetheart.
She was a sweetheart. And then the guy with his daughter who ended up dying, and with his little.
You see,
dad
that reminds
Nicholas.
me a lot more of Eccleston's era than anything else, in that they were very keen on fleshing out background characters so that you're actually like, oh no, shit, when something happened to them. Like Linda, with an I. Or was it Linda with a Y? From the Big Brother episode.
Which one was
like,
that?
Like, way back in Christopher Eccleston's era.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to remember that. But, yeah, I do agree that the characters... You're more emotionally invested in them. Even the villains, like, you've sort of gotten to know them, like Charlie from the last episode.
They've not really been villains, have they? They've been grey.
Yeah, and, like, the brother of the person who died, Indian Harry Potter, he was an interesting character. A lot of them have been interesting, except for that, I mean, some of them in caricatures. The Trump guy... He was a bit of a caricature.
That was one of the instances where the heavy-handing of political messages got very heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm all for taking the piss out of the orangutan in charge, but at the same time, his caricature didn't make any sense because he was running as an opponent.
Yeah.
To Trump, and it was like, but you're the same person?
Yeah, and it's hard to parody something that is...
as ridiculous.
In real life, yeah.
I mean, South Park can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Why do we expect anyone else to?
But yeah, anything else about this season?
Generally, I don't know what they're going to do for the finale, because as I can see it, there is no overarching plot.
Yeah, there's no like through line that connects,
and there's no hints towards a through line.
Yeah, there was that one thing where in the episode where those mummy bandages were kind of like floating around, they said something was inside the doctor that we didn't know, but then that was it. They never really hinted at it again.
Yeah,
and then every episode doesn't really connect to each other other than the overall tone of just being like darker, I guess, and more historical. But that's more of a show thing. Like how we perceive the show as opposed to something in the story.
A plot thing, yeah. It's not how it's written, it's how it's being presented.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
guess.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how especially if there's only like a few episodes left. I don't know how they're gonna circle it back around. But I mean, if you have enough time, you can do it. So,
I reckon that in the finale, one of the main companions is going to get killed off.
oh yeah,
That's my prediction. Because we've had time with each of the companions. We've seen their relationships growing. We've seen their backstories. I reckon to get us emotionally invested for the next series, they're going to kill one of them off. And they're going to actually kill them off. They're not going to do a Clara where she's floating around time and space. They're not going to do a Bill where she gets kidnapped by a water demon alien thing. No. Going to be killed off. Flat out.
Which character?
Amy Pond style. I don't know which, but it's going to be one of them.
could be.
And the
Graham.
doctor, and because the doctor has this history, Jodie Whittaker's doctor has the history of inaction. There's going to be no reprieve for them. Not going to be able to save them.
How do you feel they've done as far as Jodie Whittaker's doctor in terms of like making her a character?
I love her. I did groan a bit when I saw the Fez in the last episode.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, don't reference Matt Smith. You're better than that. But then she's coming to her own.
She's kind of like, I don't know what the term is. Is it savant syndrome? Where she's like a genius, but she's kind of a little bit slow at the same time.
She's so clever that she forgets the the most basic of details, like the thing with the leg trackers, where she was so obsessed with the grand details that she forgot, oh, hang on, we're being tracked. We can't sneak around. Oops.
Yeah, at first I thought it was kind of just like her mind was a little bit foggy from like the regeneration. But it's like it's just like every episode where she's always kind of just a little bit forgetful, a little bit kind of derpy at times, but then
and I don't like that. I don't mind that. It's the mad genius sort of thing. And I'm fine with that, honestly.
Yeah, and then but other times she's like building these like
dildos,
contraptions, and it's like I don't know if it's like me or if it's just like a lot more scientific and like explaining things a lot more in this season. I'm
feel
not sure
like it's generally just a lot more educational.
Yeah. Like that whole bit where they're talking about the CERN, like the Hadron Collider and thing. They're trying to like connect it to like real life stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting from that perspective. I like the educational aspect. It makes it feel more like a Saturday morning kind of thing where kids are learning stuff. Adults are learning stuff.
You know what they need to do? Move it back to the Saturday night slot.
Ah, there you go.
Instead of Sunday. Because then we'd be able to talk about the new episode that's just come out. Literally 2.5 hours ago.
It's all about us, really.
Yeah. Come on, BBC. Think about us. We're more important.
Pretty much. The world does revolve around us.
Exactly.
I mean, TV should too.
Exactly. It should cater to our different time zones and different recording times.
Anything you're excited for this season besides people dying? I think it's gonna be Graham if somebody dies. He's
I think
enough
it's going to be one of the younger cast. I think that'll make it more tragic. I reckon it could be Yaz. I like Yaz a lot, but they focus quite heavily on her family.
Yeah, that's true.
So she's got a lot of people who will miss her.
But would they like be willing to do that? I mean, Graham seems like the most inoffensive like way to kind of just.
But Graham is
the
most famous of the actors who is billed on this as one of the companions here.
Well, see, there you go. If he's famous, he's more likely not to be around for another season, right?
I don't know. He could be
Usually
the bigger
that's how
viewer
it works.
draw.
Like, remember Anthony Hopkins in HBO's
but he still came back, didn't he?
Westworld.
I haven't finished that season of Westworld. I should probably finish that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we kind of miss. Yeah. But yeah, it's like one of those things where somebody's so famous, they're usually like scheduled to do something else, so they don't have time for the regular TV show. If someone's gonna die, I don't know. Sounds like famous old guy who's has like a rocky relationship with Ryan.
Gets killed
You know,
off
they
at
could-
the emotional climax of their relationship.
Exactly. They're just about to connect and be father and son. He calls him dad or some shit.
Gramps.
And then
Gramps. Blech.
yeah. You know, they could mine that in the next season where he like regrets like not having more of a relationship with Graham.
Yeah.
And then Graham's ghost comes back in
It's
some
use
like
the
western
force, right?
in some virtual reality world just like in Westworld, and there you go.
Yeah. Who knows?
But yeah, this season has kind of taken a lot of liberties as far as with characters and just like killing them off. So I wouldn't be
It's not
surprised
that
if they
they've
did it
been
with the
killing
main
them off,
character.
it's that they've been investing us in them and then killing them off.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, do they kill off characters in previous seasons at this
I
rate?
feel like in Stephen Moffat's they killed off a lot of like side characters, but they'd never been really developed.
So we didn't care. We just kind
It's
of
just like,
forgot
oh,
if
that's
they
a
died.
body. Oh, well.
Yeah, and you really have to like seed it in order to make those deaths like meaningful.
Yeah.
I was very sad when they killed off all the characters. Well, especially Kira because they showed it.
Yeah, because she was such a sweetheart.
They really built up the Kira one well by having the like characters bang on the glass and sort of just kind of
Trying to get
really
it to
give you that.
stop.
You get that really like deep emotional investment
Yeah.
in the moment, and then she dies, and you're like, wait, that's not supposed to happen on a TV show. That's about happy things. Yeah. I did find it interesting that the doctor didn't really make an effort to save Charlie. She's like, oh, you gonna come up here? Nope. Okay, later.
To be fair, he caused all that shit.
Yeah, he was a mass murderer,
Yeah.
serial killer kind of person. So it's super convenient to let him die, though, because what if he did run up? He's like, okay, I regret my mistake. I'm coming up. And then, yeah, he did still try to kill, like, millions of people.
Yeah.
So what do they do then? It's a very nice way of tying, like, loose end there by having him die.
Damn
'Cause
you,
that would've been
Amazon.
awkward.
Being so convenient.
Anything else in terms of this season you want to discuss?
No, I'm just interested to see if anything links together.
Yeah, that would be surprising, I guess, but we'll see. Maybe they'll pull it off. I mean, I've completely forgotten about like the main villain of this season.
The teeth dude.
I mean, because yes. How can you forget Teeth Dude?
Teeth.
But somehow I did.
Teeth.
So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe all the villains will come back, and it would just be like a villain potluck. We'll see.
Like, who do you want to fight this week?
Yeah. Because we had our time traveling villain who disappeared on us, but never got resolved. I mean, at least Charlie's dead. At least Amazon guy is dead. So
Yes,
Loose
the
end
one
time.
oppressed Amazon worker is dead. Only thousands more to go.
9,999, I believe.
Yeah.
She had 10,000 people working for her. So we'll see. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Yes.
For this episode. We're like at an hour or so.
Impressive for us. We will see you next time. Hopefully
All right.
next week. Perhaps with some rants about J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. Maybe you'll buy Fallout 76 by then. We could play.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
But you probably won't.
I will have to pay my vet fees first.
Maybe if you get another big acting gig, you'll be able to afford
Yeah, I won't get paid for it till January.
a nice
mind.
PC. That sucks. At least you got paid.
Work sucks.
Maybe on January 9th.
I know. You okay there, mate?
Is that a Blink 182
Yeah.
reference? Wow.
And on that note, this brings us to the end of this episode of Law Friendly. I have been Alice Bell, and with me is Kris Takahashi. Say goodbye, Kris.
Goodbye, everyone.
I know.